YouTube, what's going on? Thank you for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be talking about long shots in Modern Warfare 2 and how to get them faster, easier, and more efficiently because there are a ton of long shot challenges in this game. A bunch of the base weapons actually have long shots within their initial gold grind, but every single weapon that shoots bullets has long shots for the platinum challenge. So if you're grinding for any kind of mastery camo, there's a good chance you're going to run into this challenge. Now there are 45 guns in the game that require long shot challenges, and all but 9 of them require 25 long shots to complete the platinum challenge. Shotguns and pistols require slightly less at 20 and 15 respectively, but that's a minimum of 1,055 long shots that you need to actually progress onto the polyatomic camo. So if you are going for a mastery camo grind, you want to know how to move through these quickly so that you don't get bogged down and bored while you're doing these challenges. Fortunately, as someone who's recently completed the platinum challenge and unlocked polyatomic, that's a spoiler alert for tomorrow's video, I've got a ton of tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way that I'm about to share with you guys now. First one of those being that hardcore is not how you remember it to be. Tier 1 that's been added to the game in Season 1, Infinity's version of hardcore from previous titles, is not the same as it used to be. TTK remains widely the same as general modes, and the game mode feels more like the realism mode that they tried to introduce in Modern Warfare 2019. It doesn't play the same as hardcore, you just have a limited HUD, there is no shorter time to kill, and it doesn't feel easier to get long shots in that mode. So I think generally avoid it, stick to core gameplay, and move into shoot house. The second thing you need to know, and probably the most fundamental, is the long shot distances required for each weapon category. Now for shotguns, you need a minimum of 12.5 meters to hit a long shot. Pistols are 20 meters, SMGs 30, assault rifles, battle rifles, marksman rifles, and light machine guns are all 38 meters and above, and sniper rifles are a minimum of 50 meters. You really do need to learn those distances and try and get muscle memory around the maps of where these distances actually are, where you can pick up long shots regularly, and try not to harm yourself by going for long shots at extreme distances where you know that you're guaranteed to get that long shot, because it makes it much harder to actually get the kill, get the challenge, move on to the next one when you're trying to unlock the long shot from getting one from the top of the helicopter in ground war or all the way down mid lane with a pistol in shoot house. One of the things that can help you understand the distances better on this game is the rangefinder optics that we have and that we haven't had in recent Call of Duty titles. The X10 Angel 40 is a perfect example of this. This actually gives you a little notch on the optic when you're zoomed in, showing you the distance of where you are from what you're aiming at. This helps you gauge whether you're in a good distance, whether you need to take a couple of steps back to make sure that your gunfight is actually worth taking. As always, unlocking this is a little bit complicated. You have to use the TAC 56 to unlock the TAC M and then level the TAC M up to level 11 where you will unlock this optic, but it is super useful, especially when you're using like shotguns where you can move around a little more to get these kills. So I go ahead and unlock that, try it, see if it works for you. Now I did mention this briefly before, but for me, shoot house is the easiest way that you can get long shots on this game. There's a selection of different spots around the map, but you can get long shots on every single weapon at these different points, and it genuinely makes it the most efficient place that you can hop in, reliably hold one lane or another, and pretty much guarantee that the game is going to come to you versus how it used to play at the start before Season 1, where there's a few more variables on the original 10 maps that dropped. Now, the first and most obvious of these spots is mid lane. You can hop on this wooden crater either A or C side. There's usually people down mid, usually people fighting for long shots there. See, we've got a 59 meter long shot, as you can see from my rangefinder optic I've already recommended, and yeah, you can really pick people off this heady. For ARs, LMGs, battle rifles, it's perfect, even for snipers as well. For things like pistols, you want slightly closer range. You can sit back at this center point and look at either left or right hand lane, and you have a good 20 meter distance here where you can fight for some long shots. See, 25 meters with my pistol right there, and it works just the same down here. For shotguns, the distance that you need is really only 12.5 meters, so you can move around the map a bit more freely. Just build them for longer range, build them for control, walk around in your ADS a little bit, and you'll pick those fights super easily at people that are jumping around corners or vying for you. Just try to avoid those lanes where people are already holding. Don't go running down mid, it's not going to serve you well. Now, if shootouts isn't your speed, and I understand that because it does get quite repetitive, fortunately, there are 10 other maps on the game where you can get long shots. Some of my favorites are Fortress, where you've got a nice little 38 meter spot here as you're coming out of spawn looking at mid window or bottom doors, or even through the archways where a lot of people push through, especially in those objective based game modes. Down in this little spot on the north side of the map, you can actually look straight across here where people flank, and again you've got a 55 meter shot here, so this is even clean with snipers if you get the right opportunity of people pushing behind the trucks. And finally, this is probably the more ratty one of the three spots, but at the back right of the map here, you can actually look down the lane at this truck, down at the side there where they push out of spawns, and you can get easy picks here too. And this is again like nearly 60 meters, so you can get AR kills, sniper kills, LMGs, whatever you need from here. You can even push up a little bit, hold the forklift for a heady, and you have a submachine gun kill here, even as far as the truck. So that's a really solid spot as well. There's a couple of great little spots on Mikado as well. You could go either end of the map here and look down this lane where people are often challenges. This is a strong 65 meters, so really good for LMGs, ARs, super viable for snipers, and you've often got people pushing up out of mid here as well where you can kill on the cross, and again, still within that range for a long shot. It might not be everyone's first choice, but Crown Raceway is actually pretty solid as well. You have lanes down the right hand side and the left hand side equally, where people try to push out of spawn, push out of those flanks, and you have really solid long shot ranges here. Even at the back of the map there, you can mount up on that side, the plant pot, all the advertising boards, and you've got 60 meters to aim at when people are coming out of their spawn. Really easy place to pick off kills. The last map I want to touch on is Embassy, and this is a personal favorite of mine for long shots. With the way that the map is set out, especially on objective based modes, you can catch people pushing around either sides. At a mid distance behind the plant pots, you can see that you've got a good 40-50 meters here where people are camping up top, and people often flank around this low side as well, who you can easily pick off too. Down mid lane, you have a heady to play here, and you can see that there's around about 45 meters, so strong for AR and LMGs as well. And the same on this heady tier 2, where you've got 50 odd meters to the van, strong for sniper rifles as well. If we head up top, you can see that again, you've got another good 38 meters down this lane when people are pushing up, trying to wrap on objectives like the hard point when it moves up here. You can get easy picks here, and people often wrap around the sides as well, so you can just sit up top here and watch people rotating around the back of the map, pick them off, work on your challenges. Got another really solid spot down mid here as well. You've got no cover here, so a deployable might be strong, but people are often up in this office window looking out, so they're easy picks here too. And finally, when you wrap around the back of the map, whether you're up here or down on this little corner piece, you've got shots across people that are working on lanes here. If you have subs, then it's again a really strong place to come, because you've got like a 30-meter distance here where you have a little bit of cover behind the car. People can be pitched up on this wall trying to get mounted kills, anything, trying to just hold line of sights, and you can get really solid long shots on them right here without having to do a great deal. Each map really has its own strength points, and you'll be able to find that there are long shot areas on all maps, but some of them definitely have stronger line of sights where you can more reliably get those long shots. If you want to head into ground war, there's loads of opportunities for long shots there. Of course, the maps are even bigger, but there are a lot of people looking from lots of different lines of sight, so it can make streaks difficult to go on and really make progress feel smooth and get into a flow of kills. That said, I personally like Saeed, where you sit on the top of one of the buildings overlooking either A or E spawn, I can't remember which, but it's the side with the train tracks, and you're looking down at people running out that really have no cover whatsoever. Easy picks. On Santa Cena, even though I don't like the traditional 6v6 map, the map in general down by D and E flags has lots of level buildings where people run out of and climb straight onto when they're coming out of spawn. These are really easy to get picks sort of across the map, and you get generally 40-50 meter kills from rooftop to rooftop, so they're really strong spots to sit as well. You just want to make sure to bring a tactical insurgent with you so that you don't lose all your progress and have to run another 5 minutes down the map to get to a viable point. The last thing I want to touch on here is building your weapon. So this is really where you're going to choose the optimal attachments to get these long shots. Now, for me, any of the main AR weapons I like to throw on high velocity. You can feel that there's a bit more strength, a bit more speed in the bullets, and you're more likely to get those long distance kills. Throwing an underbarrel, the F-Tac Ripper, is super reliable. And then I personally like to throw on a muzzle or a suppressor, because that kills some of the visual recoil that we see that's caused a lot of issue on this game so far. Barrels can strengthen the bullet velocity and increase recoil smoothness as well. Very, very useful when you're trying to get kills at long and distance and your enemies appear much smaller. And of course, you want an optic. When you're first doing these long shots, I'd recommend trying out the X10 Angel. Get used to the distances that you can actually get these kills on. When you're more used to things and you know where you want to play and where your strong suits are, perhaps switch over to the VLK, which is super reliable. One thing I would recommend is tuning these attachments. For me, on the optic, I always build the sight to view from far, which gives a smaller reticle so that you can see what you're shooting at easier, and increase the flinch resistance. So when you're getting those trades, particularly on shoot house, your gun isn't flying up in the air and your recoil stays steady on the target. On the underbarrel, really, you're not looking for speed or anything here. So I increase the recoil stabilization, and then I make sure that the aiming idle stability is kept really strong so that your gun isn't swaying about too much when you're sat aiming, waiting for someone to appear. On the muzzle, I focus on recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. Recoil smoothness is how that gun sort of kicks side to side and the consistency of your shot. So it's a really good thing to help eliminate all of that movement and all of that visual recoil that's had such an impact on how gunfights feel in this game so far. Barrel is fairly simple again. Focus on recoil steadiness and damage range where you can. Make sure that your shots are hitting, they hit hard, and everything is super consistent. That about wraps things up, guys. The long shots challenges in this game are boring. They are slow. They do take a while, and you have to let the game come to you a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of them, but this definitely helped me push through the challenges quicker, easier, and more consistently. And hopefully it's taught you guys something here today too. If it did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow where I'm uploading my unlock of the Polyatomic camo. Again, I appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.